All right, all right, all right. So welcome back to the Wednesday webinar. Howdy there, Dr. Jam.
I'll be you.
Be wonderful, sir. Be wonderful, be wonderful, be wonderful.
And I see D-Me-E-C Johnson.
Yes, sir. Mr. Macy is getting on in. See, Miss Oprah Allen said she was going to be late, but I see she's logging in.
Yeah, I got here about 30 minutes ago.
All right, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I knew she'd be able to make it.
Yeah.
She
It's
seemed
always
fairly,
great to find out you're faster than you think you are.
yeah, she seemed fairly dedicated.
Yeah, I'm tired with a headache, but I'm here.
So we will give everybody just a few minutes to get logged in and settled in, and we will dive right on in. So how are you beautiful people doing today? Talk to me. Dr. Jam, Miss Allen, Mr. Macy, Miss Amy, if you can chime in the chat. We know that you're saving lives over there at the hospital. But talk to me. How's everybody doing this week? How's everybody doing this day?
Blessed and highly favored.
There you go. That's a good one. Good one. That's always a plus and a must. Amen.
How are you, Miss Dr. Jim?
What's that?
How are you today?
I'm just as happy as a pig in poo-poo.
I
There you
did
go.
that to myself. That's pretty. That's pretty happy then.
That's true, isn't
Yeah.
it? Oh my goodness. Miss Amy, she chimed in the chat. She said she can't complain. She's doing great.
How's Miss Connie?
I'm not sure if she'll be logging in or not.
I was just wondering how she was with her issue.
Well, she's doing well. She's battling. I know Mr. Meese's been talking with her. I haven't been able to get her on the phone.
Praying for.
Yeah,
Hey,
always. Yes, ma'am.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
We can. Mr. Meese, how are you?
I've been talking my tail off, and I'm doing fine. How y'all doing?
We're doing absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Miss Cuddy said she was going to get on.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Mr. Lawler not coming tonight?
No, man, Mr. Lawler is out of town, so Dr. Jim will be the presenter, co-host today. Yes,
Ooh,
ma'am.
fancy.
Yep.
The
So,
co-host over there talking about pig and poo poo.
so remember, you all, this is a remake of episode 6, in which I did not get a chance to record. So my apologies on that. But Dr. Jim and I shall tackle it again, as you all voted for last week. If you all recall, at the end of the last webinar, you voted that we go ahead and do it this week. So here it is. Here it is. And of course, I will be covering how to develop your networking skills, part 2. And Dr. Jim will be covering 77 ways to market your book. And he'll be going over the juiciest, most productive of those 77 ways that should resonate with the author. So Miss Oprah Allen, somewhat new author, you're in the right place. You're in the
Yes.
right place.
Yes.
So,
Good year.
yes, ma'am. So once again, good evening, beautiful people. I am your host, Mr. Isaac D. Coleman, and my co-host, Dr. James Renford Powell, and Mr. Don Lawler. Dr. James Renford Powell is the founder of the Institute of Applied Metaphysics and I Am Press. Mr. Don Lawler is the founder of Storytellers and Brand Name. And myself, Mr. Issac D. Coleman, I am the founder of the Reality of Networking International and the Holistic Health and Fitness Practitioner for the Reality of Fitness family. And the Wednesday webinars are brought to you by the Reality of Networking International, and we air every first, third, and fourth Wednesdays on Zoom. Today is episode 15 of this episodic series, and today is Wednesday, July 22nd, in the year of our Lord, 2026. So on today's agenda, we shall be covering the practical purpose of the Wednesday webinars. Why even have them? What's their purpose? What are they all about? How do they serve you as an entrepreneur? Segment 1, we should dive into how to develop your networking skills. Part 2. And segment 2, 77 ways to market your book, presented by none other than Dr. James Renford Powell. And if you don't have a book, if you think this don't apply to me, well, shame on you, because I guarantee you, you have a story of glory, and there is a book in you, and it needs to be told, and it needs to be sold. So we're all gathered here. Chime in with me, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because great minds, we think alike, and we link alike. Thank you. Thank you. So, what is the practical purpose of the Wednesday webinars? Well, simply put, to educate and empower entrepreneurs and business professionals with realistic, tried and true tools, technologies, philosophies, and proper protocols designed to help you become more successful with advertising, marketing, masterminding, and networking in your everyday businesses and lives. In other words, these are the blueprints for how to achieve your goals, how to increase your sales, and how to enhance your marketing. So welcome, beautiful people, God's beautiful people, to the Wednesday webinar presented by the Reality of Networking International. And remember, this is where your growth meets greatness. Your growth meets greatness. So, can anybody on the call tell me why? Tell me how. How to develop your networking skills. You can give me one word answer. You can give me one sentence. Keep it brief and concise. How to develop your networking skills.
Okay, well, I'll take a shot. I'll say first by getting the proper education and knowledge from someone who's done it and doing it yet and been successful at it and practicing in it and being consistent with doing it.
Okay. Okay. I like that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. Anybody else got anything similar or different?
Always go to networking events, and that will help.
You think that it'll help you to develop your networking skills to go to a networking event?
Yes, because I have been through several lately. I went to a book to workshop networking event on Saturday and met a lot of people that, connect you with other people. That's how I do it, to go out and be involved in them and learn from them the skills. And of course, what we're doing now does that as well, webinars.
Okay. Anybody else got anything they care to share if they dare? Dr. Jam, Miss Connie. Nothing? All right. So that was a really good answer, Mr. Meesey. But Miss Allen, I caution you thinking that you can actually develop your networking skills at networking events. Majority of the time that won't happen, unfortunately.
Okay.
Most people at networking events have no idea what they're doing when it comes to the skill of networking. So you'll be wasting your time on that, unfortunately. And it probably will take you a ton of networking events before you finally find it out. So what Mr. Meese hinted at is learning from those who've already learned it and done it well. That's perfect. It's called studying, practicing from the books, from the webinars, from the seminars, from people who've done it and done it well successfully. Studying is going to be the absolute best way. Then you take that study and you apply it practically and you put it in motion. That's going to be the best way. Then you walk into a networking event with the tools you truly need to learn how to network, rather than going in there thinking you're going to learn it there, because unfortunately, you won't.
Okay.
So I must ask you all this while we're on the subject. What is the number one skill business professionals must learn? What is the number one skill business professionals must learn?
Communication.
Ms. Connie says communication. That's good.
I say networking.
Mr. Meese says networking. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else got anything similar or different? Well, as you can see by this symbol here, these hands shaking, making a deal. Well, definitely, as Ms. Connie stated, there's communication there, obviously. In order to shake hands and collaborate, there's communication there. Well, what's also not shown there is there's some sort of deal or deals being had or made, and they're sticking to the plan. Dr. Jim always talks about make a plan, stick to the plan, see it through. Well, as Mr. Meese stated, this is networking. This is networking. So what exactly is networking? Well, networking is the absolute correct answer. The number one skill business professionals and entrepreneurs must learn to truly succeed in business and to truly succeed in life. Even law enforcement. Law enforcement use networking all the time. They're in the business, just a different type of business. But in order for them to be able to work together as federal agents with the county, with the state police, with the city police, they're all networking together. It's essential. It's an essential part of life. When business professionals learn that, they too then skyrocket their growth mentally, physically, financially, emotionally. Then becomes an integral part of who they are. So let's take a look at some facts. And these references are taken from LinkedIn. Be different. If you do what everyone else does, you'll get average results. Coming from Forbes, networking. It's not what you think, Ms. Allen. It's not what you think. We've all heard of Forbes. If you've been in business any day, you should have heard of Forbes. And Harvard Business Review, Facebook posts. 80 to 85% of all jobs, we're talking independent contractors, we're talking employment, and we're talking business owners. 80 to 85% of all jobs are filled through networking. This skill allows business professionals and entrepreneurs to grow exponentially through leveraging systems while enhancing, there's that word, Miss Connie, their communication skills, personally and professionally. So if you're networking properly, you're already bettering your communication. You're already connecting yourself to other people and you're leveraging systems. Systems is what grows business. Go ask any bank. Go ask any major corporation. Systems. If you don't have a system in place and a plan, as Dr. Jim states, to stick to it, see it through, if you're not networking and understanding what networking truly is, you'll never make it big. So what is networking? Since we know what the number one skill business professionals and entrepreneurs must learn, we know that it's networking. So what is networking? Anybody?
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
All right.
It's linking up with like-minded people to help
Exactly.
grow not just your business but their business in a united effort.
Yeah,
Okay.
supporting each other. Hmm.
Okay. So you said like-minded people. Okay.
Yeah, and people that's yeah, because you can't, because if they're not like-minded, it's going to be one-sided. One person going to be helping grow the businesses while the other one just receiving from it.
Well, in essence, that's true. But what about true success? Can you get true success, meaning expand your reach, expand your revenue, grow your business, earn more money, write more books, tell more stories, get on more podcasts, get out there into the world? Can you do that successfully with simply like-minded people?
Well,
You may
I'm
remember we went over this last in-person mastermind meeting. The difference between like-minded people and anybody remember Miss Allen, Miss Connie, Dr. Jam, Mr. Macy. Anybody remember?
uh-uh.
Like-minded people versus growth-minded people.
Okay.
You see,
Yeah.
a lot of people use that vague, average person talking point. Like-minded people. The examples I gave to you all in the in-person meeting clearly was, let's say Miss Allen and I, not to pick on you, Miss Allen. Let's say we like to gossip about people and we like to tear each other down too. I don't want her doing that well, and she don't want me doing that well, but we're getting together, we're talking, we're having a good time, and we're talking about everybody else, and we're hanging out all the time. Are we not
Mm-hmm.
like-minded people?
Oh.
Are we not
Well, to a
like-minded people?
degree. To a degree, yeah.
No,
Okay.
not to a
Uh,
degree. We are like-minded people. We're
okay.
exactly the same. We're gossiping. We don't want to see each other do well, and we're pulling each other down, whether we know it or not. We're like-minded people, but we will never grow.
I get what you're saying. I
We
get
will
what you're
never
saying.
grow.
Okay.
And unfortunately, a lot of like-minded people subconsciously hold themselves back. And by that same right, they subconsciously hold others back. If you want to succeed in networking, you have to be growth-minded. And you can only surround yourself with other people who are growth-minded, people who are willing to be uncomfortable to be successful. You have to make yourself that, and you have to surround yourself with that. People who brag on you, people who talk about you positively in rooms you're not even in yet. That's the name of the game. Just being like-minded all day, if Dr. Jim and I like to sit on the couch and eat potato chips all day and drink a six-pack of Coke and a six-pack of beer, we're very much like-minded.
Dr.
But
Pepper.
unfortunately, we'll never be, Dr. Pepper, we'll never be successful with that type of mindset, that type of behavior, and those types of detrimental actions. But we're like-minded people, but we won't be successful. That's not networking. Networking is about growing. It's about elevating yourself and elevating those around you. Let's take a look at some of the skills. There's levels to it. Level 1, it's relationship driven. Relationship driven, building trust and rapport. Number 2, it's about giving, genuinely giving over gaining. Successful networking starts with a genuine desire to help others, giving referrals, which leads to receiving referrals. If you are a genuine giver, boy, let me tell you, God in the universe has got some blessings in store for you. Level 3, it's about farming versus hunting. Long-term investment, not a quick one-time sale or hunt. You see, relationships that are built off of transaction rather than cultivation won't last long. That's not true networking. And again, fact check it. This is all coming from none other than the father of modern networking himself, Dr. Ivan Misner, the founder of BNI, on his podcast, BNI episode 424. Networking is a contact sport. Started Business Network International in 1985 in his garage. Now, 40 years later, he's in more than 90 countries with BNI, Business Network International, all over the world. More than 90 countries. He stuck to the plan, Dr. Jim.
Yep.
He networked and communicated, Miss Connie. He gave over receiving. In fact, the motto is givers gain. You give first, you receive later. It's about farming and cultivating those relationships. You know, if Miss Allen goes into a room and she looks up and goes, okay, I'm going to sell 10 books to all 10 people in here. She might, but if she goes in there and go, I'm going to see how many of these 10 people I can help and connect what they need, she'll probably sell more than 10 books because she's developing and cultivating relationships. She's giving over gaining. Number 4, activation. Simply having contacts, it's not enough. Going into a networking event, getting a bunch of business cards and handing out yours, it's not going to cut the mustard, as the old folks used to say. It's not going to cut it. You must activate them through consistent interaction. That means be reachable, be contactable, and be willing to develop that relationship. Just be willing. That's it. Be willing. In the insurance world, Mr. Macy, Ms. Rosalind can understand. They say be trainable, be teachable, and be coachable. Well, as a business consultant, you say the same thing. There's no way I can help you grow your business if you're not teachable, trainable, or coachable. You have to have consistent interaction. Not one time, not 2 times, not 3 times, consistent interactions. That's activating the cultivation of that relationship. That's networking. And finally, the actual cultivation. Putting it in your head, in your mind, in your conscious and subconscious. Lifelong relationships. Partnerships. Not just any partnerships, strategic partnerships. Interactions consistently and commitments built from nurturing those relationships. In other words, always be networking, always be cultivating, always be activating those relationships. That's networking. It's about relationships, not transactions. Building your networking skills. Looking at some of the networking skills. So if networking skills are the #1 requirement for generating more referrals, if this is true, networking skills are the #1 requirement for generating more referrals, how do you give to your partners? How do you give to your partners? Give you an example. How do you give to a business partner? How do you give to a referral partner? How do you give to a mastermind member? Anybody?
Refer business.
Refer business. That's a good one. That's a good one. Anybody else?
Well, well, I don't really know if I'm in the right area what you're looking at, but what I'm thinking is when you're giving to them, you you got to be that middle person. You don't just send that contact information over. You've got to follow through with it and make sure that they've actually not dropped the ball, that they're actually communicating or or closed out any business that there is to close out.
Okay. So you're talking about following up. I like that. That's good. That's really good. And that is definitely a way on how you give. You give the referral first, but then you got to follow up. I like that. That was a good one. Anybody else?
Mm.
Anybody else got anything? Miss Allen, Miss Connie. All right. Here is one for you. Ask. Ask. Ask your business professionals what is the best way that they receive new business. Just ask them.
Mm.
And be willing to write down and take notes. Be willing to ask questions for clarity. Most likely, you're not a business consultant. Most likely, you're not a master networker yet. So if they tell you this one thing, one sentence, probably you need more information to truly send them quality referrals in business. Ask away. Well, what if I encounter this person? What about this? And you said this about your business. You said this about the price. You said this about this. What about this? Learn their business. That's the only way you can truly send them quality referrals is if you take the time with an open mind and be willing to ask the right questions, learning their trigger words, learning their business well enough to refer them quality, consistent business, and you'll do so effortlessly once you know their business well. Each one of us encounter each other's customers all the time. But if we don't keep each other top of mind, and we don't know each other's business well enough, when that person comes across us, they'll just continually to walk away because we can't make that connection. In order to make that connection, ask them if they're open to more efficient ways of receiving referrals and or ongoing business. This is where strategy comes into play. Maybe you do some research. Maybe you speak with a business consultant and say, hey, I got this referral partner, this mastermind member that does X, Y, and Z, and I'm trying to find out how I can send them more business. What do you suggest? Use the systems, use the advice that you find out, and present that to them. Hey, I found a way that we can partner together. Or hey, I found a way I can send you more business. Are you willing and open to that? Ask. Give freely. Yep, that's right. I don't care if you send Dr. Jim 10 referrals and he didn't send you one. It's okay. Give freely without expectation of receiving anything from the receiver. Because remember, in this organization, we're not just about networking. We're also about the foundation of masterminding. And if we're about the foundation of masterminding, we're built. Our structure is built off of the walls and pillars and the floors of the universal laws. What universal laws you say? Success principles, truth and reality. Therefore, you know that there is a law of giving and receiving, also called the law of reciprocity. So you know it's going to come back to you Don't expect it to come right back from the receiver. Don't worry about that. It's going to come back to you. How, pray tell? Tenfold. Tenfold. So the more you give, certainly, truly, the more you receive. So give often and give freely. Give sincerely and give purely. Now, what about your consumers, your customers, your clients, your patients? What about them? How can you give to them? Anybody? Anybody tell me, how can you give to them?
You ask that again.
Your consumers, your clients, your customers, your patients. How can you give to them? How can you give to them? This is all within the realm of networking. How can you give to them?
Well, you can keep a you can as you're communicating with them, you can keep a listening ear as to what their needs are. You know, if their car is broken down, you refer them to the mechanic that can fix it. If their computer breaks down, you refer them to the computer technologies that can fix it. And Also through referral bonuses. If they have done anything for you, you can give back to them through referral bonuses. I would say there's different types of giving back to them,
Okay,
different types of ways.
okay. All those are really good, actually. I like that. Anybody else?
With the consumer, if you sort of make a personal connection with them, you learn them, you learn what they need, what they want, and try to not necessarily be friends, but be more on the communication level with them to find out their preferences, what they enjoy, what they don't want. You know, when I go into a house, that's the first thing I do. You know, try to establish a connection with my customer.
Very nice. Very nice, Miss Connie. Very nice, Mr. Meesey. Miss Allen, you care to chime in before we move on, darling?
You can move on. I'm just barely hanging on.
Oh, all right, darling. And Miss Rosalind Cowens is actively in a massage therapy session right now with someone, so she can't chime in at the moment. Of course, Miss Amy is at Regional 1. So those are really great answers, both of you all. And here's one for you. You can ask them what kind of deals would help them utilize your services and products more.
Mhm.
It's just all about being more helpful to them. So that's basically what both of you all said. Being more helpful to them. Maybe your services they don't need because their car is broken down. Well, you definitely know someone who can fix on cars. Not just anyone, someone within our own mastermind group. There you go. But ask them what kind of deals would help them utilize your services or products more. Because let's say you offer something and they're spending that money elsewhere and they would like to spend it with you. Maybe they don't know that you offer that particular type of service. Maybe they don't know that you have that particular type of product until you tell them. Look at Family Values Group with Mr. Meesey. She offers an array of different types of insurances, but you won't know that unless you ask. Let's say you're a client of hers and you've had life insurance with her for years now, but you don't know now that she opened up her own agency recently and now she does property and casualty insurance as well. So Mr. Meesey would need to ask that client, are you also in need of X, Y, and Z? That person may say, yeah, I'm paying way too much for my car insurance. I'd absolutely love a review. Let's go. Ask them what kind of products or services could you or should you adopt or adapt. Say that again. Ask them what kind of products or services within your scope could you or should you adopt or adapt? You can ask them who or what kind of problems do they have? so that you can connect them to the appropriate professional, just like what Mr. Misi said in the opening part. So now your client, your customer, your patient, your consumer now sees you as a viable person in the marketplace that can help them with just more than publishing, or more than just cleaning, or more than just an author. They see you as a person to call when they need something because they know you will get it done. And the more you get it done, the more you learn how to get it done. So, beautiful people, what is the key to success after knowing what you want? What is the key to success after knowing what you want?
Go after what you want.
Say again.
I said, well, Jim was talking too. I was just saying, get up and go after what you want after you know what it is.
Go after what you want. I like that. Go
Get,
after what
get,
you want.
get started before you're ready.
Get started before you're ready. Before all the negative chatter in your head or in someone else's head, just get started. Get started before you're ready. And here's the key. Keep going. Plan it out, mess up, fail your way to the top. Billionaire Mr. Robert Kiyosaki said, I failed many times. He's a multi-billionaire now. He said, people don't fail enough. You need to fail your way to success. Be willing to fail as fast as you can. And then fail again. Learn from it and keep going. And keep going. Just don't be making the same mistakes again. But learn, experience, fail to succeed. Get started, people. Get started, get started. Take massive action. Now, what if you want more referrals? We just covered this. This is perfect. What if you want more referrals? So let's say Mr. Misi says, I got a goal from the group. I want 5 extra referrals this month. What should she do? What should she do? She wants 5 extra referrals. What should she do?
Be active. Go after it.
Go after it. All right. What else?
Give more referrals.
Give
Right.
more
Give and
referrals.
receive. Yes.
Give and you receive. That part
Exactly.
is y'all young people say that part. The law of prosperity is
So
generosity.
silly.
It's also called the law of giving and receiving.
Okay.
Also called the law of reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
If you want more, you give more.
Right.
As noted by the late, great Mr. Bob Proctor himself. So, next week is the 5th Wednesday of the month. Therefore, we won't have a Wednesday webinar. I'm sorry. You all get the week off to contemplate and think about how to receive more referrals, how to give more referrals, and what is the true meaning of networking. Are you doing it properly? And how better can you do it? But the following week will be the 1st Wednesday of the month, August the 5th, a day before my birthday. Woo-hoo! We will cover how to ask for referrals. If you don't receive enough referrals, I promise you one thing. It may not be that you're not giving enough referrals. You're probably not asking properly. I guarantee you, you're not asking properly or you're not asking at all. There you go. So, next up, I get the chance to introduce a living legend amongst us as my segment has closed. But you all are still in for an amazingly good time. So on episode 15, we have covered how to develop your networking skills, part 2. If you want to see part 1, go back and watch episode 5. If you want to see part 3, go back and watch episode 8. for episode 7. Episode 7 will be how to develop your networking skills, part 3. Go for the big one. And they're all on our YouTube channel, The Reality of Networking International, under the playlist library called Wednesday Webinars. Rewatch this information because you can't get anything one time. Look at how well you all did, but also how much you all didn't remember when we covered this particular episode information some 3 months ago. You got to study. And what you study, you got to practice. And what you practice, you're putting it into action. That's the only way you're going to get better. That's the only way. Miss Allen can't go out and sell one book. She can't even go out and sell 100 books in one day and stop right there. She got to do it again and again and again. She got to find out why it worked. She got to find out why it didn't work another time. You got to practice and take action. So now I have the privilege of introducing to you all a living legend. It is my honor and privilege to introduce this ancient legend. He is my Leo friend and mastermind mentor. He is the founder of the Institute of Applied Metaphysics, the founder of I Am Press, the overseer of the Church of Revelation, co-founding member of the Reality of Networking International. The man who went off to the Vietnam War as a Christian missionary with his wonderful wife, only to discover the secrets of success that lay hidden beneath the earth and the universal laws of truth and reality. The man who has authored more than 40 books, magazines, workbooks, and literary works of all kinds. The man who has helped, coached, and published many books for numerous men and women from varying backgrounds and all walks of lovely life, just like you. The man who will show you that there is a book in you. He will help you compose it from point A to point Z and everything in between. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dr. James Renford Powell. Let's go.
You'll have to give me a few minutes to dry off my feet. I've been out walking on the water.
All right. I love it. Yes, sir.
One of the first questions that I have when I have my author workshops is, where in the world did you come up with 77 ways to market your book? How can you develop that? Well, the fact is, there may be 250 ways to market your book. I have no idea about all the different ways that you could market your, book. What I did was look at what I did and look at the things that I'd learned about and develop from there. The background story on all this is that I, 2 years ago, went to the book stock. And I don't know if you're familiar with book stock or not, but this is held every year at the Benjamin Hooks Library. Miss Y. Ying Glasgow is the one who directed it at the time. And it featured local authors from this area. And 2 years ago, I went just to support her, sort of thing. And I didn't have a book there myself, and I didn't have any of my authors with a book there. And so I decided just to talk to a few of them, go around and look at what they had to offer and what they had done. One of the first persons, I guess it was the first person that I talked to, was unbelievably upset about marketing her book. She was so frustrated about the fact that she'd spent all this time and energy creating this book and couldn't figure out how to sell it. Nobody was buying it online. Nobody was getting her book in the bookstore. Couldn't get it in the bookstore, some of them. So very unhappy. So I decided, well, I'll follow up on that. And so every one of those 35 or 40 people who had a book there, I quizzed them about their marketing, how they were marketing their book. Now, some of them were traditionally published with big name publishers. Some of them were published by independent publishers like I Am Press, and some of them had gone the whole route and done it all by themselves. One of the things that I learned right away when I got into investigating this is that you really need to be looking at how you're going to market your book while you're writing it, or even before you write it. This is an expensive process. And after going through and talking to all those people, it was ringing my bell, because I wouldn't help anybody market their book if I didn't publish it. This was something that came with me publishing the book. But here I'm looking at this tremendous market of people who've written books and are very unhappy, very upset about the process of marketing, even with the big major publishing houses, where they may have gotten a little bit of money up front, but probably not, and only get a royalty, maybe 10% on that book. And then the traditional publishers are asking them to go to different places and sign books and go through their process of meeting the public. So it was a real eye-opener for me. So the first thing I did is I started looking at first of all, looking at how I've been doing it, how I've been marketing my books. And secondly, looking at the book that our friend Don Lawler talks about from Mr. Conrad, called Guerrilla Marketing, because he spent some time with him on it. So I took that book and I started looking at how to market books utilizing that concept, which is basically high impact, low cost marketing. How to get out there, get the book out there without being taken for a ride by marketing companies who have a very expensive process and most of the time. And you're talking about advertising on television, you're talking about advertising the paper, advertising on Facebook, and all of these things. This can be a very costly thing. In fact, the most expensive and the most time-consuming thing you can do as a writer is work on marketing your book. If you don't have a plan, so we come back to the same thing: knowing what you want, designing a plan to get what you want, and following that plan through. And in order to do that well, you've got to know who your market is, who is likely to want to read your book. So I looked at all the things that I was doing, and I'll run over those quickly with you, because I've given a copy of the 77 Ways to Market Your Book for Issac to send to you. If he hasn't already, he will if you ask for it. And you can tick off things. There'll be certain ones of those 77 you're much better off talking to Issac about. And there'll be some of them you'll be better off talking to Don Lawler about, because I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be handling them. The fact that I'm listing the 77 does not mean that I would work with you on those 77 ways. My objective is to make sure you know those 77 ways are there. A lot of people, when they first off, they think they've got to become a speaker, and a lot of people would rather have their teeth pulled than go out and make a public speech. All right, so that's not the best way for them to market. They've got to find their niche. And what the 77 Ways You Can Market Your Book does is show you some of these niches, some of these ways, some of these categories that you can work. And then you've got to find somebody to work with you on that. And I would recommend certain people for certain things that you might do. But I started first looking at what I'm doing. Now, at that point in time, I already had a big YouTube site. Why? Because I already had a television show for 5 years called The Bookman Show, and later the Core Concepts Show. And when I stopped doing my show, we put all of those up onto, well, not all of them, but a good portion of them up onto our YouTube site. So if you go to youtube.com and then type in Renford Broadcast Network, you'll find there's over 80 shows up there of 30 minutes to an hour duration. Right? And these are all shows from my television show. So YouTube, there's two marketing things of the ideas of the 77 ways is have a television show, and that's not always cheap. I had a radio show, internet radio show on the Renford Radio by Renford network. We were doing about 14 shows a week, and different people who had shows. And I had one called The Laws of Material Wealth. And then I would have a guest, and then I would talk about things to do with that book. All right, which is a good way to do it if you can do that. The other thing that I had before I even went to that book stock was I had a magazine. And initially I was, I would do one here and there, and it wasn't like it was every month. But on September 2019, I started doing them every month. So that magazine has been consistently published since September 2019, and that's a major part of my program. You don't have to do an e-zine, but you might do a newsletter. Newsletters can be highly effective. And basically, you're talking about aspects of the book that you've written. All right. And that will lead to another way of marketing your books, and that's speaking engagements. And speaking engagements doesn't necessarily have to mean a great big audience. It might be a club. It might be the Optimist Club or the Kiwanis Club. It could be something like that. They're always looking for speakers. I would speak at churches. And because of my message, I could talk at a Pentecostal church or the Church of the Latter-day Saints or Church of Christ. It didn't make any difference because I'm not talking doctrine or dogma anyway. But each writer has to put together their own program of what they would talk about. So I had that e-zine. The e-zine runs about close to 60 pages and now goes out to over 7,000 people per month. Now, that's another one of the 77 ways you can market a book is build a database, start list building. And it doesn't have to be huge. You could start with 100 people that you know. And as you proceed with this process, other people will come online, other people will be added to it. And there are systems out there that you can learn how to list build. The whole seminars and workshops on what to do in list building. The next thing I did is I had already done, but I developed it much further after this incident, and that was my catalog. And the catalog has just my books. I'm also doing a catalog for everybody I've published, and that'll be a pretty big catalog. But in my catalog, there's 41 publications, and each one of them has a picture of that book on it. It has the specifics of the book, how many pages, so forth, when it was published. And then it has a little synopsis of what the book is about. And then it comes with 3 points. And these 3 points you ought to always remember in your marketing book. I ended up writing a book that was a book about the books. And in that book, I'm talking about the core message. What is the core message of your book? What are you really, you could call it an elevator presentation. What's your main thing you're trying to get in people's head from that book? All right. So the core message. And then I ended up explaining how I came to write it, because it's very interesting to people how you came to do what you're doing. And you never forget this personal touch. When you're talking about your book and everything else, you have to keep your personality at the forefront there, because they're as interested in you as they are that book. The human interest story is a very important part of your marketing. All right. And the third thing in this catalog was what one can expect to get out of reading the book. because that's the bottom line question. When they pick up your book in a bookstore or anything, the first thing they look at is the front page, and the second thing they look is the back page. And that's why I always stress to my authors to make your pitch on the back page. Don't stick your face on there. Don't put a bunch of nonsense. Sell your book. That's your chance. All right. That back page. And if you look at it, and I usually write these for my authors because most of them don't write or do it very well. But you got to make a presentation on a half a page or better. You got to sell that book. It's like you'd sell hot dogs at your stand. You're selling it. And so those three things, that is, what's the main message of it, how it came to be written, and what you can expect to get out of it. And then I had already joined some social media, Facebook and stuff, which I didn't like. I don't like going on it even now. Fortunately, Sir Issac there has got it so I can open them up, because I had trouble opening them, and it just ticked me off, and I just got where I wouldn't even open them at all. All right. And I have 2 pages up there. I know. I think he found that I had 3 pages, didn't you, Isaac? I thought I just had the Institute of Applied Metaphysics and James Renford Powell, and we were in there looking at it, and there's the Renford Books page. All right. So go up and check it out. But LinkedIn, Facebook, and other most of the other social media I've had a hard time getting into, Instagram and others, but some people can. And that may be the way for you. I've got 2 websites. At one time or another, I've had up to 4 websites at the same time. All right. You can't have a book unless you want to sit down and put a book in a box and put the address on it and send it out and go through all that yourself, which I have done for years, but I don't like it. And I'm working very hard right now to put all the books into the Amazon template and getting from Amazon. Now, they're already on Lightning Source. They're already on .com and on Lulu.com and other venues, because those go international, and Amazon goes international. So I'm doing my best to get as streamlined and automatic as possible. Why? Because you want to go write another book. You don't want to spend all your time in trying to sell the book. All right, that's really not fun. If you're like me, all the fun is in the research and the writing. And that's why you'll find these people who will write a book, and then they'll go back to the coffee shop and write the next one, because they don't want to go through all the stuff that you have to go through in marketing the book. I bet you Oprah Allen hates the idea of doing what she has to do to sell that one book. All right.
Actually, I enjoy it, but go ahead.
You do.
I do.
I bet, and you'll enjoy it when you're 80
good.
and 90 years old, selling one book here and one book there.
No, I don't like it like that.
Oh, I know what I'm talking about here. You need to be organized,
Right.
so that people can buy your book. Now, I have 2 websites now. I had the IamRenford.com. We took it down. I had the Laws of Material Wealth one, but because of problems with the staff and people doing it, so I've got 2 websites now. One is A Book in You, ABOOK, the letter N and the letter U, which is the website for the I Am Press. And the other is iam-core.org. And that's the one for the Institute of Applied Metaphysics and the Church of Revelation. That's iam-core.org. And there is, both of those sites have been recently worked on, and the I Am Core one is a whole new site. And that site has been up there 20 years. And when I did that back then, it cost me $1,900 to do that website. Now you got people out here all over the street selling them or doing them for $300 and so forth. But are they the tool that you need? You have to be sure that that website is user-friendly and easy. And when somebody goes there interested in your book, it can pay the money, buy the book, and be done with it. And you want to have somebody, the people who run that platform, deliver it for you. All right. So this is all this took me. These are some of the things that I was already doing. Recently, I sent a number of you a copy of my podcast one sheet. And the podcast one sheet is basically telling people who have podcasts that I'm available. Now, I have a podcast platform and we're developing something there too. But the more people you can get on their platform, that's people you don't have on your database. The more people you can get on there and answer the questions and tell people your story, the better. And that podcast one sheet has your, and I follow with the American Writers and Artists Institute platform for that. Their basics for that. And then I sent it to some of you like Opal too, so you could develop a podcast one sheet that way as well. And you've been on somebody else's television show, so have I. I've been on shows like In Depth, that's George Flynn's
2
show.
minutes, sir. You got 2 minutes.
How many?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Now, this is something that you can't cover in one show. We wouldn't cover it all in 5 shows. All right. So take the 77 ways that you can market your book sheet and tick those off and put a note down there. Find out what this is. What does that really mean? What would that involve? What would that cost? And either talk to Isaac, myself, or Don Waller about that.
Have it saved.
Now, there's some other things in here like writing articles to these article platforms, articlecity.com that I did. And of course, as you know, we're really getting heavy into the mastermind, and it would not hurt you to have a mastermind group for your book, for yours, that people want to pitch. The last thing is the trifold. I produce a trifold for every one of my authors as part of the cost. I don't charge them for it. The trifold is just like one 8.5 by 11 sheet that you can fold into 3, and you have print on both sides. I have a whole bunch of samples because I did that with every single book I've written. And I've done it with every single author that I've published, all right? Because that one little trifold you can carry in your pocket. Talk about low cost, high impact. You can be at a funeral, all right? At a funeral, and on the way out, you hand them that and say, have a look at that and tell me what you think. That's what I always say. Tell me what you think. All right. That's the kind of thing you can give to anybody, anywhere. All right. I don't know if I do it at a funeral or not, but you know what what hyperbole is. Jesus used it often.
Right.
Use that trifold.
That's the time, you all.
And you won't be giving away so many books. I hope that's helpful. And be sure and if you don't have a copy, get a copy of the 77 ways. Check off the ones that I've covered for you.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And everybody, on your email, I sent you all a copy of Dr. Jim's podcast 1. And I will resend you all a copy of the 77 ways to market your book. So I will re-email that to everybody. We got a couple of new people in the room that may not have received it, so that'll be perfect. And now I want to spend about 10 minutes or so, you all, on questions and answers. So fire away. Any questions about networking skills? Any questions about one of those 77 ways to market your book? Maybe a particular way that you think that you want to market your book, Ms. Allen. Maybe a particular way you think you might want to market your book, Ms. Connie, Ms. Rosalind. Ask Dr. Jim. You can ask him now.
Seemed like I discussed this with you, Isaac. I need to know. He brought up something about website and things like that. I just want to know how to efficiently put it out there on a website. I used to have Kajabi where they would put their information in, and then I would mail or give them the book. But now I need a substitute for that. It was some other ways he said, Lulu, Lightning Source, and all that. I was just wondering how to utilize those resources instead of the way I'm doing it to add to it to sell more books. I think you mentioned Google reviews and things like that, or Google Books, or whatever you said. How does that work?
The most of these platforms like Lightning Source and um, Lulu.com and even Amazon.com is going to cost between $300 and $400 to set it up there. But once it's there, it's there.
Okay.
And as long as you follow the template that they want, put it exactly the way they want it. And you got to remember, they're going to, when an order comes in, they're going to print out that one book. It may be an order for only one book. They'll print out that one book, bind it, drop ship it, and pay you. All right. So I say, yeah, okay, yes, sir. Whatever you want, sir. I provide them what they want. So I've spent the last 6 weeks, I've put about 11 books into the Amazon template because I kept having trouble every time we put it up there. They'd kick this back because this wasn't, the margin wasn't this and this wasn't that and whatever. So I've spent that time. And since I was having to sit there and it's a mess, you drop that into that template and it changes the font sizes and it changes the type of font and it changes space and it makes a mess. And you have to go through and fix it. And since I was having to do that, I went ahead and produced a new edition of each of those 11 books, because a lot of people think if a book is 10 or 15 years old, it's out of date and is not valid, and which is not nowhere near the truth. But nevertheless, I do updates, new editions on mine uh, from time to time. I don't let a lot of years, try not to let a lot of years go by without doing a new edition. But these are costs that are actually pretty low for what they do. You know, $300 or $400 to put it up there. It's not is not is not real is not real bad, but depends on how much money you got to work with on your marketing. And that's another subject we can talk about sometime, is how to go about funding your book marketing. All right.
Yeah. Now I just order them through Amazon KDP on the
Yeah.
discounted rate right now. I was looking
Yeah.
for other ways. At that networking event I went to last Saturday, I was asking her how would I get my books in a bookstore like Novel or Barnes and Noble, and I did not know that I would have to pay money for my own ISBN number. I got an ISBN number when they were publishing. I didn't have to pay for it. So I was just wondering, how do I get them in stores like that as well?
Yeah. Well, Barnes and Noble also has an operation very, very much like Amazon, and you can put your books up there. And if you have it up there, there's a good chance, especially if they get any orders, that they'll end up putting your book in there, buying your book themselves. I have found my books up there um, that are owned by somebody else. They bought them some time ago, and then they show up on my site on Amazon. All right. But if somebody buys that book, I'm not getting paid for that. That's their book. They bought it. They bought those books a long time ago. They're book distribution companies that do that sort of thing. So that's another good reason for putting out a new edition, because you can just simply say, well, that's an old edition they're selling, you know. But we can talk about some of these different places that you can put your book. In fact, you can pay a little bit extra with some of them, like Lightning Source, and you get an international listing. Amazon's international anyway.
Yeah.
There's anybody that goes on Amazon If they go to amazon.com/author/Renford, they go to where all my books are, or where about a third of them are.
One of your books are Kindle edition on Amazon. I
Yeah.
got to get to it. The Laws of Material Wealth. Yes. Need that. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm.
Beautiful. Anybody else got anything? Got about 5 more minutes or so.
Mm.
Dr. Jim, I'd like to set up a meeting with you this week if you got time.
For you, I've always got time.
Aw, thank you. I know
And
you're
one,
busy as a chauffeur, so my schedule is pretty good right now. I just work 2 days a week right now, so yeah, and that's in the morning. So after 1 o'clock, I'm available.
Okay, but if you want to, just give me a ring. We'll set it up whenever you like.
Okay, sounds
All right.
good. I'll
Sir
buy you
Isaac,
coffee.
Sir Isaac,
Yes, sir.
I have a little bit of humor to leave everybody with.
Yes, sir. Let's hear it.
Well, you know, they say the statistics show that in the United States, 1 out of 4 people have some mental illnesses, mental difficulties. Have you guys heard that before?
I
Yes,
used to
sir.
work with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Mhm.
you know, the solution is you call your 3 best friends,
yeah,
right?
Uh-oh.
And
Uh-oh.
if after discussing with them and you decide they're not mentally ill, you are.
You,
Yeah.
you so cold, Dr. Jim.
Yep. I love it.
Me
Deduction.
too.
The process
Wow.
of deduction.
It's
Yeah.
it's sad but true.
It's sad.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. It's a good one.
I'll take care. I gotta study for my audition tomorrow. The job I'm in, you have to act, which I love, so everything's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, what do you mean by acting with the patients? Act like a patient? Like, what are you doing exactly?
Patient. I work at UT Health Science Center on Madison and Dunlap. I'm a simulated patient. My role is to go in and act like a patient so that the students can learn through me how to better serve patients when they get out there with that. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I do my little role,
Gotcha.
and they learn from it. I critique them and they tell me what they feel about it, and I tell them how I felt when they were treating me. So it's very interesting.
Do you play mentally ill?
Ah,
Well, this is about
You
okay
you
now.
got to play mentally ill, right?
he
This
yeah.
is
always bringing that up.
now actually that was my last job. We won't go there. We don't have the time. But for this one, I'm going in there not knowing that my roommate cat and I'm allergic to it.
Hmm.
So I go in there and I'm coughing and sneezing. We trying to determine the cause. And actually, I do have a cat allergy, so it's gonna be real interesting, you know.
Okay.
So I'll tell y'all more about it, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good for me. It's part-time and it's something I've always liked to do, even since elementary school. And it's interesting. That's all I can say. Do y'all know where that's located?
Mm-mm. No.
I know the area.
Yeah, yeah. Only thing I don't like is, and I'm gonna have to find a way around it, is walking 10 minutes from the parking garage down to the place, actually between 5 and 10, then coming back. That's not gonna work in inclement weather. So, but other than that, I love it, and there are ways around it I found out. So that's all. Y'all just pray for me.
Amen.
Okay.
It was a
Good job.
blessing. It was a blessing. Thank you. Okay, that's all I got, y'all.
Well, good. Well,
Good.
Miss Allen, I say this. So when you're doing your patient simulation to help them out,
Mm-hmm.
get them some real world experience. So it brings me to a time when I was a police officer
Uh-huh.
and I was a rookie. I had about 4 months on the police department. And we got this call, mental consumer, office medication. Mother called the police on him. He was wanted for sexual battery and aggravated burglary. And they said on the radio, he's about 6'2", 6'3", 300 pounds. We getting there, and there he is sitting there. Now, I ain't going to jail. Y'all ain't never taking me back. I'm gonna kill y'all. So I encourage you, put those trainees through the ringer. Just act like you did all kinds of crazy and see how they react.
Gotta go
See if they
by a
have to
script,
replace.
Isaac. I gotta go by my script. You trying to get me in trouble. Actually, I went through that. I worked in a group home where they send the mentally ill criminals to. I worked at the peer support center where we ran out of coffee. He said, if y'all don't get this coffee, I'm gonna you up.
Yep,
I have gone through all
yep.
this.
Bless your
I
heart.
don't even want
Bless
to
your
think
heart.
about that number.
Bless
I
your
won't
heart,
go through
darling.
the sexual part, but let's
Bless
just
your
say
heart.
I'm glad I don't work in that industry anymore.
I don't blame you, darling. I don't blame you.
But anyway,
Because
I'm gonna do all right.
with
All
us,
right.
it was a knockdown, drag out fight.
I know it
I
was.
used every bit of mace in my can. And
I know
I
you
got
did.
maced by one of my partners on the scene.
Well,
It was a knockdown, drag out fight,
only
unfortunately. So
CIT crisis, only crisis intervention team officers supposed to be dealing with those type of people.
we had one on the scene. We had one
Oh,
on the
okay.
scene, but that wasn't enough. So and the
Oh
supervisor,
my
one
God.
of the lieutenants, he was scared to go. He didn't go with us. He came after the fact. He disregarded himself from the call.
Oh, that's awful.
Hey,
Well,
it's
look,
life. It is life, darling. It is what it is. We survived. So they were very
well,
happy that I was there. So it's
y'all can have a good rest of your evening. Y'all are funny.
Hey,
Have a
yes,
hey,
good one.
ma'am.
hey,
You have
Mr.
a blessed night,
Isaac.
darling. Anybody else need anything? Mr. Macy?
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You was talking about the like-minded and growth-minded.
Yes,
Because I want to make sure I'm understanding right. So
ma'am.
if you have two growth-minded people, would they can still be like-minded because they're both growth-minded, but two like-minded people don't can't ne- are not necessarily growth-minded, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh,
So
okay.
what growth minded is more specific. So in terms of communication and networking and business, it always says specific is terrific. Specific is terrific. There's a young lady who's doing great in business in BNI up near Nashville. She talks on this, gives talks on it at no end. Specific is terrific. You want to be as specific as possible in your communication. You want to be as specific as possible in what it is that you do. Ms. Don Law talks about that. You want to be able to break down what you do very quickly in just a few words so you don't confuse anybody. If you confuse, you lose. So if you're talking about masterminding and networking and growing together, you need to be very specific about the fact that I'm growth minded and I only want to work with growth minded people because you don't want to attract people who are just I'm like minded and you come around and you find out the person has a bunch of red flags. They're always no calling, no showing you. They no calling, no showing your referrals. They just don't do business well. They gossip, they talk negative, they act negative, they think negative. And you go, this is not me. Well, that's true, but you weren't specific enough to talk about the fact that you're not just simply like-minded, you are a growth-minded person. That's the type of people you want to attract. People who are growth-minded like you, not the people who are negative like somebody else.
Okay. Thank you.
Y'all have a good evening.
All right, darling. You have a blessed night. Dr. Jim, you got anything?
That's it for me.
Well, Miss Connie, Miss Rosalind, Miss Amy, anybody got anything?
No, I'm good.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, you all have a beautifully blessed night. And if you all need anything, you give me a ring. And Miss Connie, you're still in my prayers and everybody else's prayers. And return
Thank
my
you.
call one of these days, ASAP. Thank you. All right, you
Yeah,
all. Love you
my
all. God
birthday's
bless.
Sunday, so I'm going out of town for my birthday. I'm going to see my aunt in Arkansas and spend the day with her, with my sister that's back in my life after 20 years.
Well,
Oh,
great.
You.
yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. My sister and my aunt haven't seen each other in 42 years.
Wow.
So I'm taking her over there and reuniting them. So
That's pretty good.
that might be one of the reasons why I'm still on this earth.
There you go.
Except for I'm so mean, that's why too.
Lord have mercy. All right,
Y'all
you
have a
all.
good one.
Love you all. God bless you.
You
Okay.
too.